Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central. And if you're looking for tips and strategies to help with your learning, you have come to the right place. If you follow my YouTube channel or my blog, you'll know that I sometimes answer Quora questions. And I received another Quora question in my inbox this week. And it's basically this: can a failing student ever become a straight A student? And the answer is yes. Okay, end of video. Of course, you knew I wasn't going to stop the video. I'm not that concise. I'm not that brief normally. Yes, that's the broad answer to a broad question. Without more specifics, one can't really answer the question in depth. But in general, all of us can improve. So in theory, a failing student can become a straight A student, and I've seen it happen, so I know that it can happen. I would stress, however, that your short-term goal should not be to become a straight A student if you're failing or near to failing at this point. Remember, you want to have goals that are achievable. So you will need some short-term goals and move step by step. So the idea should be toward improving, not necessarily reaching that so-called straight A grade. And although I use that term myself sometimes, even in one of my Udemy courses for study skills, become a straight A student. Ultimately, it isn't about the A. It's about improving and gaining as much knowledge as you can. If you do that, you will likely reach that A grade. How do you get there? What if you're failing? What do you do? One major point that I want to mention is time. You must spend the time to improve. If you're not willing to spend the time, or you don't have the time, it's not going to happen. Like anything else, whether you're learning how to play a new video game, skateboard, ride a bike, play basketball, football, whatever you're doing, you practice, you practice, you practice. And I've known lots of people who will practice for hours on something that they really enjoy, but they won't find 1 hour for their studies or for learning. So if you're not willing to put in the time commitment, then it probably isn't going to happen, or it isn't going to happen as well as it could. So you need to schedule. I would say set up a schedule and plot your time so that you have time for hobbies, you have time for games, you have time to eat, obviously, and do all the other things that you must do or want to do in your day. But you also set aside a specific amount of time for your studies, and that will vary from student to student, course to course, teacher to teacher, etc. It really isn't going to be the same all the time. However, if you're in the regular school system and you're trying to take a number of courses, probably 1 or 2 hours per night, 4 or 5 nights a week is a minimum. And that's important. It's important to block off enough time, because just sitting in the classroom just doesn't cut it if you want to be a straight A student, or even if you want to reach your highest goal. You need to do more than just show up. You actually have to engage yourself and be a part of that process. And a big part of that is setting aside enough time. Also, for those of you who have seen a lot of my videos, a lot of this is going to be a repeat. But that's okay, because a big part of education is repeating, reminding ourselves of what we should do. So take notes. Don't just show up to class and sit there. Take some notes. Take some notes from your textbook. Take some notes from the lectures. Take some notes from podcasts. Whatever you're doing, jot down a few notes. So note taking, very, very important if you want to move toward that straight A student status. Attend to the classes. This is important. Sometimes students, especially at college or university, don't show up for a lot of the classes. If you really want to reach the peak of what you can do, even if that's a B student, you need to be there. You need to be there so that you hear what's going on. It might be the same information you read in the text. It might not, but it will likely be presented in a different way, and there could be additional material added. Plus, you can learn a little bit about how the professor or the teacher thinks about the topic. That can help you to gear your answers, not just to please the teacher, but in order that the teacher will comprehend what you're trying to say. And even if you disagree with them in some way, you will be better able to prove it by using some of the ideas and arguments that you've seen presented in class. Even if you're refuting them, you'll know more how to approach that. Monitor yourself and be honest with yourself. Are you spending enough time? Are you asking questions of yourself? Are you asking questions of the teacher? Are you asking questions of other students or other people? A tutor like myself might be able to help you as well. I can't leave that out. But ask yourself questions and seek the answers. In other words, being engaged, as I mentioned before. You have to be part of the process. You are your own best teacher in the end, and you use all the tools around you. And this will be in my new book that's coming out in a couple of weeks. Teach Myself. And it's all about learning how to use the resources around you to teach yourself, because you are your own best teacher. Make sure that you're spending enough time. And if your schedule needs adjustment, if you don't have enough time to get everything done, you need to adjust your schedule and make sure that it's working for you. Make sure that you are taking your notes and doing all of the other study skills and strategies that you've learned in the past. And if you haven't, learn them now. There's lots of videos online, mine included, and I have some study skills courses. If you're interested, I will put some information down below with the website. You can always check the website because they're listed there. Also, take care of yourself. You have to get rest, and sleep is part of that, and you have to eat properly as well, and you should get a little bit of exercise too. These things are very important for the brain and the mind, which are really the same thing in a way. There are philosophical arguments about that, but your brain is part of your body. So if you're not taking care of your body, your brain will not work at its peak performance. So sleep is not a waste of time. You really need it, and it's best to get at least 8 to 10 hours. It does vary a bit for person to person, but those who say they can run on a couple of hours of sleep, yes, you can run on it, but you won't be running at your peak performance. Lots of research has shown that. Lots of doctors make mistakes when they're not getting enough sleep. Very intelligent people, quite capable, but without sleep, they do not perform at their peak performance. So make sure you get your sleep. Make sure you're eating well, and that means obviously eating enough, but that's not most people's problem, but eating the proper balance of food. I'm not going to go into specific diet here, but a proper balance is probably the most important thing. Make sure you're getting a number of different foods into your system so that you're healthy. That will help you as well. Can a straight A student, can a failing student become a straight A student? Actually, a straight A student could become a failing student as well, but I'm not going to give you advice on how to go that direction. But a failing student, or a student who's doing, poorly, has very weak grades, can definitely strengthen their grades and can reach that straight A status if you really want to. I am cautious about that statement, straight A. It's not necessary to be a straight A. You just want to do the very best you can, and some of those will be A grades for sure. So take this advice to just follow the good study strategies, but time is such an important piece, where I started off scheduling and time and blocking your time and making sure you spend the time. A lot of people say, yes, I have a schedule. I do 2 hours of homework every night, Monday through Thursday. And then when you actually look at what they're doing, well, I didn't have any homework on that night. Well, that's not the point. It's not about homework. It's about you teaching yourself, reviewing your notes, writing things out, asking questions, looking for more information. You always have work to do in those time slots, always. So make sure you commit to that. All right, it's Ron Johnson from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and I will give you a little bit more information in the next slide, and then I will see you later. Bye-bye. Just a quick reminder to click on the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, and then click on the notification bell beside it if you want notifications when new videos are posted. And if you like the video, please click on the thumbs up and say you liked the video. All of these things help the algorithm and help move the channel up in the standings, and I really appreciate it.